And William Regal is talking to Tony Schiavone, and before he even really gets to say anything, MJF comes out. And MJF interrupts him. And Christ almighty, Tim, we got another benchmark of the MJF promo. You know, we got the origin story from how CM Punk broke his heart. Now we're getting the motivation where William Regal apparently, and I'm going to paraphrase because MJF said it way better than me and I don't want to quote him.
MJF's side was amazing. We get these MJF promos every once in a while where you feel like he's been waiting for the grand stage to give this promo. Like I have to believe that this kind of went down that way anymore. You know what I mean? He's either so good as an actor that he's not long for the wrestling world because he'll be in movies, or there's a lot of truth to this.
I think there is truth to it. I don't think that what he said was a made-up situation in WWE. Obviously, we've seen him as an extra in WWE when Samoa Joe punked him and said, "Get back," and so I'm in front, right? So he's worked in WWE. We know that, right?
Yeah.
I just think, and this is my own opinion, is he takes that situation and then he says, "Hey, remember we kind of lost contact?" And I think possibly the letter of "stop talking to me," that might be the fabrication, right? That might be the lie that gets us to that's what drove me to be MJF. But I think everything else is truth. Again, that's just a hunch. Maybe it's all true. Maybe it's all a lie. I don't know. But it feels real. And that's the best part of it. And that's all I care about. I don't even need authenticity. I don't need someone to fact check and go, "Hey, guess what? Here's the letter I found." I don't. Just entertain me. And this entertained the hell out of me. Now, let's flip to the other side. Throughout the entire time that MJF is giving this heartfelt speech to William Regal, Regal has a smirk on his face the entire time. Just almost like smug. Like, yeah, of course you're saying this, you dumb shit. You know how many times I've heard this? You know how many fucking people have told me that I was the motivation to keep them wrestling? And you know what they're doing? Fucking nothing. That's what it felt like to me. But what William Regal starts off with, and he starts to get booed. So the crowd cheers MJF. Regal, I thought, was really the MVP here because he did not get flustered. So he starts to speak and he's getting booed. Boo. And son of a bitch, Tim, by the end of it, they're cheering him too. Like, so what he says is, when I was 16 years old, wrestling the independent circuit in England, I was going to bed with broken noses and blood coming out of my eyes and getting the shit kicked out of me by adult men. And I had to earn the respect to get to where I am today. So if a letter is what got you to this point, you had it fucking easy. And isn't that the truth? But here's the awesome thing. And again, why we love AEW so much, at least in my opinion, is both guys are true. Both guys are telling the truth and are valid in their reasons. William Regal then cuts him down and says, like, you can do it the right way. You don't have to, because he brings up pushing Tony Schiavone. He's like, "Hey, if you want to," I love the line where he said, "These brass knuckles, the only reason I used them is because I liked it. I didn't need it."
Yeah.
I loved it. And so I
just like hitting people with
like, yeah, I like the line that's drawn in the sand with William Regal, where he says, "Yes, we're both villains in this ring, but the way I do my business is the right way and the respectable way, because everyone back there will say it. The way you're doing with pushing Tony Schiavone is crossing the line."
I even like how he's like, "Look, I was insulting Tony Schiavone before you were born. Like, that's fine, but like, you don't put your hands on Mr. Schiavone."
Exactly.
Right.
You know what it feels like almost to me? Here's the analogy that just came to my mind. And again, both people in this story are telling the truth and have a valid reason. But it reminds me of like when the 1950 gangsters that wear the suits and say we have a code of honor bumps into the street gangsters who, you know, will do the drive-by and like any means necessary kind of stuff. And it's like they both suck, right? Like both of them are bad. One just says, you know, you don't kill people in a church or something, where the other guy, the, you know, street gangster or whatever you want to call him is like, no, I'll shoot him in his bed. I don't give a shit. Fuck that guy, you know? And so that's kind of what it felt like to me, is where this old school way of being a villain needs to be respected.